Right, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Ultra Distance Runner channel. This is the heat map explanation and update special. I realised that I've been posting all these videos about Project Heatmap and I haven't really explained to anybody what it is, but if you're a Strava user, you'll know really what I'm talking about. But for those that are watching and have got no idea, a heat map on Strava shows you via your GPS tracker on your watch any route that you've ever taken whilst you've been recording it and uploading it to Strava. So if I was to go and run along the seafront, for example, from Worthing to Brighton, it would have a little red line that shows me the route that I took. And so each of these orange squiggles that you see on here shows you a route that I've run on. Generally, mostly, nearly all of these are runs. Maybe there's a few bike rides in there, not many, but nearly all of these are areas that I've run on. So when I was living in Brighton and Hove, if we zoom in, you can see that I was there's not many roads that I haven't run on, especially in Hove. And this goes back to about 2015, 2016, something like that, I think. Around about 2016, I think. And so, as you can see, by kind of going through this map, there's not many places that I haven't run in Brighton and Hove, especially when it comes to the hills and the trails. All the way out to kind of Newhaven. And even further beyond, so I managed to kind of get quite a long way out into Eastbourne, Seven Sisters, Beachy Head, Cookmere Haven, Friston Forest. Never quite got up to around Polegate. That was one of the areas that I wanted to explore, but obviously I've moved to Surrey. We'll get around to that in a minute. One of the areas that I really wanted to get into and never got time to whilst I was around here. This was my next area to kind of fill in, Newhaven. One day I'll go back there and make amends to that. But as you can see from this map, again, if I zoom in a little bit more, Stanmer Park, run all through Stanmer, you can kind of see that I've pretty much run every tail. This is the escarpment, so this is the South Downs. And as you can see, if we go through it here, there's not many paths I haven't run on. I've pretty much covered everything around Brighton and Hove. There was not a lot left for me to explore, to be honest. This is New Timber Hill up here. This is Wolstonbury Hill, really steep hill. I've even gone kind of further north up to there into Hassocks. We'll go north in a minute. So it took me a long time, by the way, a long time to explore all of these. This is all around Devil's Dyke. Then we've got Folking, Truleigh Hill even, and even, north of Truleigh Hill. I went and explored a little bit around. It's lovely around here. Really, really nice, especially in the summer, if you haven't been. And then all of the hills kind of south of Truleigh Hill and south of this, Brighton Hove Golf Course, Waterhall, everything. I've gone through so many different areas. Mile Oak Farm, all around here, Shoreham, all the way along the Downs link, further up into Beeding. There's just so many places that I've explored. That's the Downs link, I think, this one here. Bramber, going over towards Lancing now. It took such a long time. You've got Sisbury Ring coming up around about here somewhere, and Chanctonbury Ring, and Hill Barn Bolt Golf Club into Worthing. There's Sisbury Ring. There's Clapham. I've even gone as far out as Angmering and explored around Welpham Woods. Never really got far into Durrington itself, but there's not, I'm a trail runner, so you've got to understand that most of my runs are in trails or on trails. One thing I've never got to do is to link these two bits up. So this is part of the South Downs I've not run yet, between Washington and heading into, where are we going into here? Kind of Amberley, Houghton, Arundel. So yeah, at some point I need to link these two bits up here because I've never gone into here. But I've gone around Houghton, as you can see, we're zooming out a little bit now, all the way around to Littlehampton. I've done Slindon, Eartham, and then into Pulborough and some of the areas around Fittleworth as well. So again, if we zoom back out, you can see there's a large swathe of trails, especially around kind of between Stenning and Lewes. There was pretty much nothing I hadn't explored. And that was Project Heatmap Sussex, and then further north we went into I went into kind of Burgess Hill, did a few runs, heading down in towards Lewes from Burgess Hill, Chailey, into Hassett a bit further north. We did a bit of Haywards Heath as well, but a little bit of exploration around there into Riverswood, which is pretty very nice. Orienteered through there as a kid. Ardingly, did a race there, ran around the reservoir. Balcombe, beautiful, absolutely stunning around here. If any of you ever get a chance to go, it is a lot of it's private. Don't tell anyone, but Balcombe Forest is absolutely stunning. Braintridge, High Beaches, all of these areas. Tilgate, well, yes, Tilgate's public and it's stunning, but these Braintridge, High Beaches and Benson Hill Wood, oh my god, are so beautiful. Never got into Monk's Forest or the Warren. I have orienteered through there. These are two areas that I want to get into at some point, all of around here, do a bit more exploring, but I've gone into Worth Lodge, Roughwood, Worth Forest. A little bit more exploration obviously needed in here to fill it out a bit more. Tilgate, need to go a little bit more off Tilgate as well, maybe do a bit more exploration around there. So that was kind of Heatmap Sussex, and then I moved, and I have moved. That's a race that I did. That's a park run that I do locally, but I've moved to Surrey. And so now we are into Project Heatmap Surrey. This is what I'm currently working on. So again, all of these areas dictate somewhere that I've run on. There's hardly any cycle routes on here. They're nearly all running. So I live in the middle pretty much of this common. This is Ashstead and Epsom Common, and as you can see, I've pretty much explored everything. There is nothing left in the common. I can't go into Newton Wood because it's private property. Everything else around the common I have explored, and it's on my doorstep, so I got into Prince's Coverts as well. Done quite a lot there. A little bit more for me to kind of explore, I guess, but I can tick it off. I can say that I've run through it a few times, and yeah, I can kind of tick it off my box on my list, if you like. I've gone through. There's a little bit more through here. I wouldn't mind kind of just exploring a little bit more around Great Oaks, a little bit, not a lot. Esher Common I've gone into, but I want to get back into there and head up into West End Common and explore up into this area, and then eventually into New Course and Old Course. It's very green in Surrey, so these bits I want to kind of get out and do a bit of a longer run. This looks interesting, this area here, so I'd like to go there and see what that's all about at some point as well. Hazelwood I haven't gone into, might just nip into there at some point, but yeah, then we're going into Leatherhead, and then we're heading down into Norbury Park. I need to go back into here, do a little bit more around here, then we're heading into Box Hill and West Humble, so you can see I've done quite a lot around Box Hill and West Humble. There's a few paths in around this area I want to get into. Again, there's more around here that I want to explore because it's such a beautiful area. But I've done most of it now. I want to get into Headley Heath because it's huge. Headley Heath covers this whole area here, so there's definitely some more trails I want to get into for Headley Heath. But one of the things I do want to do is I want to link Brocken Quarry up with this part of the North Downs, because now we're talking at the North Downs. So I want to do this part of the escarpment and join these two up at some point. And likewise, I want to get this part of the escarpment linked up with this, and then we're kind of heading into to Reigate territory from that point onwards. Here's Reigate Park Run that I've done a few times. So those are the areas that I want to get into. I've done a bit of Banstead Wood. This is all kind of built up around here. I could go into Banstead Common at some point and do a little bit of a run around there, but I'm not too fussed about that. The main area that I cannot wait to get into is down here I have got years worth of trails, years worth to explore. Holmwood Common, can't wait. Massive Great Common, really looking forward to getting into Holmwood. Redlands Wood, another huge area for me to get in and explore. All around Leith Hill, there's just so much around here. It just goes on for a very long time. There's so many forests and trails within all of this. If I zoom in, you can see the trails show up. Look at all of this. I've got all this to explore. There's so much in here. All of this area here, it doesn't look like you can get into this, so it might be farmland. But we've got all of these trails in here. And look at this. Look at Hurtwood. It's huge. And pasture wood. It's going to take me forever to get into all of this and explore it fully. Look at Winterfold. There is so much for me to explore. So much. It just goes on. If I show you the satellite map, you can just see how much of this is actual forest as well. There is so much for me to get in. I've got all this to get my teeth into and explore around. I can't wait till the summer because I'm going to be coming up here a lot during the summer. Look at it. It just goes on and on. This is what I love about Surrey. There are so many woodlands and forests and trails to kind of get into and explore. And then if we go into the actual North Downs ridge, I think this is the ridge. I'm not sure, and I get confused where the ridge is. I think this is so this is the North Downs itself. Ranmore, that's an area that I want to get into. In fact, I may even be going there today, so check the channel. And again, we've got these huge areas kind of north of here that I want to, there's just so much, it just goes on forever. So the plan is, if I zoom out, I want to give you an idea of the actual, this is quite helpful. I've already run around here, so I've got a nice little square to kind of fill in. But that's going to take a long time, as you saw a minute ago. But what I want to do eventually, if I get time, is to let's kind of zoom out a little bit. So, plan is to join up this with Hawley, north of Reigate. I've got all this area, this bit covered in. I want to kind of join the Cobham area up with Woking and then down to Guildford, and then eventually the plan is we're going to have a big area like this kind of area to fill in. And you can see I've made a good start. If you look at this, I've already done a quarter of it, let's say, or maybe a fifth. But when we've got all of this area in here to explore, this is going to be the main area. I'll be spending a lot of time filling in this in, and we'll get out and explore other areas. So that is Project Heatmap Surrey, and eventually, when I'm done with it, it should look a little bit more like that. But we're getting there.